Yeah.
The aerosol filtration lab has been set up since 2016 in partnership between Concordia University and the IRSST, which is an occupational health and safety institute in Quebec. This lab is the result of the expertise that we have built at IRSST since 2009 on filtration of aerosol and specifically N95 masks. In the lab, we test the performance of filters materials for various applications. Filters for ventilation system, industrial vacuum, and others, and the respiratory protection device. We are now testing face masks, and this is the focus. This lab is very active during COVID-19. We support various federal and provincial organizations such health network, police, city, private company, and the research group, and others.
Can you tell me what we mean when we say filtration?
We talk about filtration when we want to separate a solid and fluid mixture. We need to separate solid liquid from air, for example. In our case, we are talking about extracting liquid or solid aerosol like microorganism or dust from the air. Filter and the porous material are used which contain fiber or pores, pores, to stop aerosol by different mechanisms, or mechanical mechanism or electrostatic mechanism. To characterize the filtration material, we look at different parameters. We look at the efficiency, how the material is efficient to capture aerosol, to clean air. We look about the comfort or the pressure drop. This show how the air flow move through the material, how easy it move or not. It's pressure drop. And we are talking about what's going on in time, how the filter is loaded, is what we say loading. How long, how long the filter can be used. And the last one, we can talk about leakage. Leakage, we can talk for personal protection, for example, is about fitting. For face mask is about fitting too. But in HVAC system, we are talking about leakage because the holder of the filter may have some leakage. It's well fit or not. The leakage is present when we talk about filtration.
So if I can summarize what you have been saying, so there you talked about 4 elements. You talked about filtration, and that's the aerosol that comes into the mask and the capacity of the mask to be able to filter these aerosols, whether they're liquid or solid. You talked about breathability, which is interpreted as pressure drop in terms of the capacity to breathe through the mask. You talked about leakage. Loading, yes. Loading, which is the time that the mask can be used, the fabric can be used to efficiently filter particles.
Yeah, just I can explain here. When material or filters get loaded, it becomes very difficult to breathe through because the particle is gonna fill the holes and all volume of the filter, and filter become like unbreathable. So that's why we cannot use it all the time. And more the quick it's loaded, more it's no good for it's no good material because we cannot use it for a long time.
This is why some masks need to be thrown away, for example, after wearing them for a certain period of time. I understand. Okay. And leakage, which was the 4th element that you talked about, and that's if a lot of air is going through, and this way a lot of particles are not being filtered through the mask, but instead they are being ejected from other places. Okay.
That's why, when we deal with filtration, we want capture particulates. So it's very, very high. It has very high filtration, like HEPA filter. More we have leakage because it's become more resistant to the air. So we need to balance always between efficiency and breathability.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always we need to find the balance between both of parameters. And at the same time, we need to look about the loading. It should be something loaded very quick, and then people cannot use it for 2 or 3 or 4 hours. So like textile, for example, that's the thing. It may be no good for textile. It's going to be loaded very quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are using specific material that contain fibers, and fiber, it may be used for longer time. It's designed for that.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. So, I mean, the filtration of the particles has to do with the size of the particles as well, right? So I'm curious to know what you have to say about the size of particles. What's about the size of the particles that can be filtered? What can you test in the lab?
First, we can test all sizes of particles, but we are more focused on particle size that present the worst cases, where the filter is weak. It depends on the filter itself. For example, when we talk about pure mechanical filters, the capture is only mechanic. We need to look at the particle size around 300 nanometers. The theory said if we have only mechanical filters, pure mechanical filters, the worst case is the 300 nanometers. That size is what we name the most penetrating particle, MPPS. And we try to look around that because it's no precise 300, but it's around 300. We need to focus that. For HVAC system, because there are almost mechanical filters, we need to look at 300 nanometers. But if we talk about electrostatic charge adding to mechanical filters, this MPPS, the most penetrating particle, shifts to less than 100 nanometers. And then we need to look about the filtration for 300 and less than 300 to make sure we cover the worst cases. Because we need to be conservative. We need to protect people in all circumstances. So we look about where the filter is weak, and there we can test it to make sure that we have the right information.
So do you have any data about the typical size of the COVID-19 virus or typical viruses that need to be filtered inside masks?
Particle size of the virus itself, that the virus it cannot live by itself, it's going to be destroyed. It's 125, around 125 nanometers. But the virus is in droplets. I will talk about that after. Droplet is a liquid that might or not contain aerosol or particle. And the virus is in droplets, and is alive in droplets because it's humid or it's good environment. And the droplets is gonna travel with the virus, and it's gonna be dry with time. But after one time, it's gonna free the virus, and then can contaminate people even they are far from infected person.
The source, yes. So if we start talking about aerosols now, because the droplets are related to the aerosols, what can you tell us about aerosols?
Are naming or dealing with aerosol when we talk about particles which are flying in the air. it followed it took the movement of the air to move from one place to another place. The gravity is very low, and they can move with the air, so they can fly. Like for example, we are talking about sand in Sahara. They can travel from Africa to here, to America. So they can across all ocean by using the air. That's why when we are talking about aerosol. We are talking about droplets, as I said before, is a liquid. For mask in general, we are talking about saliva or blood. Depends of situation. When we talk about aerosol, we are more talking about personal protection. We need to clean air because it contains our aerosol. We need to clean it and breathe only clean air. Okay, the most clean. We cannot clean it 100%. When we are talking about aerosol, aerosol is in air, and we need to filter it to prevent breathing inhaling aerosol that air contains. But when we are talking about droplets, it's another scenario. There are two kinds of droplets. We can talk about droplets coming from blood. In surgical situation, for example, we can the person who's wearing the mask, he has to break or stop the big droplets to come in his mouth and prevent any infection. Here we are talking about surgical mask, and surgical mask has two work to do, is to stop droplets, and it has to kill the virus, because that material, it contains some material that it's against virus and bacteria. Here we are talking about surgical mask. Surgical mask is to prevent anything coming in the mouth from the patient, for example, during the surgery. Mm-hmm. But now we are talking about saliva. Saliva, here we are talking about a situation like COVID-19, where people is infected with COVID or flu, and when he's sneezing or speaking or breathing, for example, he may project droplets, and then we put a mask in his mouth. It's not the person we need to protect, but is the person, is the source, the infection, and we need to stop everything coming from him to prevent any contamination or any transmission of the virus or microorganism to another person. So it's not like a personal protection, it's not like surgical mask, but it's made to protect others. When we wear, it's made, the idea is not to protect the person who is wearing the mask, but to protect other person from to get infected by the virus.
Yes. So my next question is about different types of masks, and I would like to hear you talk about that. You already started making a distinction between personal protection and face mask and fabric. So can you tell us a little bit about the different types of masks that exist and what their purposes are?
When we talk about aerosol droplet, then we start talking about mask, because mask is related to droplet or aerosol. Mask, if we look at mask, it's something high. Is a covering made of fiber or other material. It may be gauze, textile, and fitting over the nose and the mouth. So we don't want something in or out, or out. There are both situations. Protect, it may protect, its mask, but may protect against dust or air pollution. And when we are talking about pollution, it may be chemical, aerosol, liquid or oily aerosol, it may be a microorganism. Okay, that we can talk about personal protection, and there are many kinds of personal protection, but what is famous about COVID is N95 because it's the most used in medical. This should well fit for less leakage to provide high protection factor. It's, the fitting here is like very, very important, very huge. We can have a good mask with good material, filtration material, but if it's not fitted, is what happened with KN95 coming from China. They are good material, it's a good fiber, but it doesn't fit the face. It cannot work as personal protection, okay? Second, the mask material made of sterile gauze or worm to prevent infection of the wearer in surgery of the patient. It's used to stop droplets, and it's not especially well fit. It shouldn't be well fit. It should be fit, but the fitting is not the major parameter. We are talking here about surgical mask. Surgical mask is protecting the wearer from the patient that is under surgery, okay? And here what is new is the face mask. It's new for us, but for Asia is not new. It's something there. It's made for any material to stop droplet during sneezing, coughing, speaking, breathing. Face mask is made to protect odor from droplets coming from wearer. The wearer, the person who holds the mask, he has to protect others. The work we need to have from the face mask is not to protect ourselves, it's to protect others. Okay?
So tell me about something. When we look at those blue masks that everybody's wearing, those are the surgical masks that you're talking about, right? Or am I mistaken?
The surgical mask that you see outside is not the right one.
That's why I was going to ask you.
This is the color.
The color is
Only
blue.
about color, but it's not the. I have one here. I can show you. You know, is a blue color. Is blue color. That's it. But it's not surgical mask because it cannot. Okay, one second. A personal mask and surgical mask, they are standard. They have to have some standards to be qualified as surgical mask or N95, for example. But this one, it cannot be qualified for the standard and for the surgical mask. The efficiency of that one is less than 60%. And surgical mask, it should be higher than 85%. And I have one here. This one is white, but it's better than the blue one. It's almost 80%, but it's no surgical mask. So we need to be careful, though. We cannot judge it by colors or by form. We need to test it, and then we can have the right information. That's why we have a lab like here, is to test and to see if he can be qualified as N95 or surgical mask, or he can be only just face mask.
So when we say N95 mask, is that what people refer to as a respirator, or is that different?
It's a respirator. Yeah.
It's a respirator, as opposed to a surgical mask, as opposed to, or in contrast to a surgical mask, and in contrast to a face covering mask.
Yeah.
Those are three different concepts, and not all masks are created equal. So there, the N95 mask, which is a standard from what I understand, and then there's the KN95 mask, which
the K is N95 is about North of America. It's qualified by standards from United States. It's NIOSH standard. NIOSH is Institute Occupational Health Institute in the United States. And K is only because it's coming from Asia. It's KN95. It's something. It's something like N95. The K is only because it's Asia standard.
okay. So thank you for that that clarification. Can we talk a little bit now about the issues around face masks? So right now in the news, we're hearing a lot of things. We know that face masks are going to have to, they're going to be compulsory in public, closed public spaces. We could see that in Ontario, it's already on. Quebec is coming very soon. Apparently the city of Montreal had a date, and then Quebec had another date. So it's going to be something something very common now, and people will not have a choice but to wear them. But it seems to me as though there's a lot of misconceptions with regards to face masks. What are those misconceptions, and can you explain where that's coming? One of the misconceptions that we just untangled now is the difference between wearer and who is protected by the face mask, right? So that's one of the misconceptions. Can you tell me why it is that if you wear a face mask that resembles a surgical face mask but might not be, or just a face covering, that it does not protect you? What's at stake?
The face mask is for us is something new, and another problem for surgical mask and personal mask, it's standard there, and we know what is about, and to use what we need from that mask. For this one, the face mask, the problem, we don't explain well what we need from face mask. When we understand what we need from face mask, then it's easy to look at about the best material and the best fitting and etc. For the problem here is we don't have standards. When we build a standard, the problem will be fixed. We test surgical mask and personal masks by inhalation, because we need to protect the person who is wearing the mask. But for the face mask, it's the opposite. We need to protect others from the person who is wearing the mask. So the standard should follow what we need from this mask. We need to test it at this way, how we can prevent droplets coming from the mouth, go out and be transmitted to others. It's that's why we need that in this direction we need to go. But the problem here, people are testing face mask as material, and they test the filtration, and they are testing something it's about inhalation. Here we are talking about exhalation. And it makes people confused. There are many papers published now. They are talking about face masks like surgical mask, and sometimes like protection mask. No, this is to be wear by the person may be infected, and to prevent contamination to others. So we need to find the way how we can qualify the face mask when it's in the mouth, how it can cut droplets coming from the mouth to prevent any transmission to others. That's what I'm working on right now, and it's something coming about paper that we are going to publish.
So let me ask you a question, and I'm thinking out loud as you're speaking to me. So I get into an elevator, and let's say that there's a group of young people there, and they're all close to one another, and I have to take this elevator, and I have no choice but to go in. One of them has been contaminated by COVID-19, and I'm coming in the elevator, and I have my face mask. I bought one off Amazon. I'm wearing it. It's a bit loose. I try to pinch the nose. I try to put it close to the glasses. And I walk into the elevator. Am I not a little bit protected by the mask or not at all? Not at all.
Because particle, even there are large particle, they are going to choose the leakage. One mask, when it's sealed, it may be very performant. When you make a small hole, very small hole, then everything is changed.
It will find the root.
When you wear a mask, even you do everything, don't think you are protected if others are not wearing the mask. If others are not wearing the mask, you may be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
So what you are doing is you are assuming your responsibility. If you are infected, you are going to prevent to transmit your virus to others. But others should do the same thing to protect you too, by wearing the mask. Everyone should wear the mask when we are in confined space that is not well ventilated. More it's closed, more it's the probability of transmission is big. More it's very huge. More we have ventilation, or we are outside, where more we are safe.
So we're going to be living with face masks for a very long time.
We hope it's going to finish one day.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that I did not discuss?
No, I'm very pleased to join you